So we have finished with the topic of weathering. What does weathering result into? Weathering results into production of rock wastes. So it results into breaking up of the rocks and production of the waste material of the rocks or the smaller rocks. Such rocks which are produced due to weathering are known as rock waste. This rock waste are what? They are disintegrated and fragmented materials of the rock. Now, you must have seen in the recent times, recently, just 1-2 months back, there was a big tragedy in Darjeeling region in which around 40 people were killed in a landslide. The last tragedy which occurred in Uttarakhand is a tragedy or disaster, we can say, in which is one of the biggest scale of disaster, in which many lives were lost, and more was the destruction of the property, and also many people were affected. More than lakh of people were affected in the Uttarakhand disaster. What happened in the Uttarakhand disaster? What happened in the Darjeeling disaster, or what happens in every year during the monsoon season in the Himalayan region or in the Western Ghat region, is that the rock fragments which are there on the earth, on the top of a slope, they come down very fast and destroy or kill the people. Or sometimes the rock comes and they destroy the villages, kill the people. Sometimes the flood comes, or mud comes like a river, and it floods the region, killing many of the people or destroying the houses, etc. So such kind of a movements of the broken rock materials which occur due to the force of gravity, in which there is a movement from higher region to the lower region, is known as mass movement. So our now topic is the mass movement. So what is this mass movement? Mass movement, as I said it is the flow of the broken rock materials. It is the disintegration of those broken rock materials. They come down under the influence of gravity and they affect the land region. So when the broken rock material comes down the slope under the influence of gravity due to some kind of a lubricating action of water, these are known as the mass movements. Now before we start with mass movements, you should know the two terms which are associated with the mass movement. The first term is the rock waste. What is a rock waste? Rock waste is the disintegrated and fragmented rock materials. These are fragments of rock material and disintegrated rocks are known as rock waste. These are known as rock waste. So the fragmented and the disintegrated rocks are known as the rock waste. And gradually this fragmented or disintegrated rocks, they move downwards under the influence of gravity. Gradual movements of this disintegrated and broken rock materials under the influence of gravity is known as the mass movement. So what is a rock waste? Yesterday we did the two terms, that is regolith, core stone. Now you remember the rock waste, that is the rock materials which are broken down due to the influence of gravity, is known as the rock waste. Now the materials which break down from the slope, the rock, if this is the slope or this is the mountain slope, the materials which break down and fall down due to the influence of gravity, these materials obviously they come down, break down, and they collect at the base of a mountain or base of a slope. Such a material is known as talus or scree. Talus or scree. What is a talus or scree then? the debris or the broken down rock waste, or the debris, or we can say the fragments of a rock waste which collect at the base of a slope is known as a talus. Rock waste is a broken down or a fragmented rock material. This is just for your better geographical understanding. When this rock waste come down, it is known as mass movement. The rock waste, while coming down, after they come down, they again break into small fragments and they are deposited at the base of a slope or at the base of a mountain. Such is known as a talus or a scree. So what is a talus or a scree? You can take it down. The talus or a scree is the debris of a rock. It is the debris, that is the broken down materials of the rocks which comes down and where do they come down and are deposited at the foot of a mountain. And are deposited at the foot of a mountain. So we have done the four terms associated. One was the regolith, broken down rock material, then core stone, the rock which does not break, rock waste, again the broken down or the fragments of the rock, and lastly the talus or a scree. The talus or a scree, that is these are the four terms which are associated with the weathering and erosion, which you should know it very properly. Now the definition of a mass movement. What is a mass movement? We can define the mass movement as the movement of the rock waste Where does the rock waste move? Down the slope. Under the influence of gravity. Under the influence of gravity is known as an mass movement. So look at the definition. The movement of the rock waste down the slope under the influence of a gravity is known as the mass movement. So which is one of the most important factor? Remember that the gravity is one of the most important factor in the mass movement. And obviously movement of the slope is movement of the rock waste is down the slope. That means the steeper the slope, there are more chances of mass movements. So as per the definition, the movement of the rock waste down the slope under the influence of a gravity is a mass movement. Now it is saying only under the influence of a gravity. It is not saying under the influence of a water. It is not saying under the influence of a wind, under the influence of agent of an erosion. It is not saying under the influence of a glacier, no river water, no wind system. That means it is not defining anything. Look at this definition very properly. It is just saying under the influence of a gravity. It is not taking the name of any other agent of an erosion. What are the agents of erosion? Water, wind, whatever breaks the rocks are the agents of erosion. So here the most important factor or the most important agent is the gravity. So that means the gravity alone plays a very, very important role in the mass movement. Obviously some amount of role or some amount of important role is also played by water, especially rainwater, not river water, especially the rainwater. Why not river water? Because river water is breaking, transporting, depositing. That means as per our previous part, they come under the influence, they come under the definition of an erosion. We are studying the topic of weathering and mass movement. So here we are not talking of erosion. So we are talking only of rainwater. That is, the rainwater comes down and obviously they will break down the rocks, and the rocks will glide over the rainwater. So you remember that obviously gravity though is the most important factor, some part of important is also, or some lubricating action of water is also required for the movement of the slopes. So the movement of the slopes will obviously, when water acts as a lubricating agent, it will play a major role. But sometimes there are some of the landslides which may occur even without the slopes. So the mass movement is the movement of a rock waste down the slope under the influence of a gravity, where the gravity is one of the most important factor. What are the, so you can, thus gravity plays an important role. Now on what will the gravity depend? Gravity will depend on how steep the slope is. If the slope is very gentle, obviously there won't be much of a movement of the slope downwards. On the other hand, if the slope is very, very steep, there will be faster movement of the rock waste material. But you also remember, rainwater plays an important role, though the water is excluded from the definition, though the water is excluded from the definition, obviously, but it plays an important role. But it plays an important role because it acts as an lubricating agent. Because it acts as an lubricating agent. So the water here acts as a lubricating agent, movement of the slopes downwards under the influence of a gravity. By the definition, can I ask you the two questions? If this is an original slope of a mountain, and if we are breaking this slope for any other reasons, then this original slope will look like this. Maybe we are constructing a road, we are constructing any kind of an, if this was the original slope. Now when we are breaking down this slope by blasting effect or by any kind of effect, obviously the cracks will be developed in this. So consider this cracks being developed like this in the rocks, or what we say, faults will be developed along the rock. Now if the water is rainwater, when it goes in this region, when the rainwater goes, it goes through the gap, it will go through the gap and it will act as a lubricating agent, and as a result of this entire rock material will come downwards, what we call as an landslide. So that means here only the gravity is playing an important role, though the some amount of lubricating action of water is required. But water is such an universal agent that we generally exclude it from our definition. So the mass movement is movement of the rock waste down the slopes under the influence of a gravity. Now the mass movement are classified on the basis of, there are different types of classification, but we are referring here to the classification on the basis of this speed of a movement, that how fast the mass movement will be. The mass movement can be classified into types of mass movement as what will be the various types of a mass movement? Very, very slow mass movement. How when a person is walking slowly, when the person is known as creeping, that means extremely slow, very slow mass movement. So, creep. What will be the various types of creep? Soil creep, rock creep, mud creep, etc. Then after that, flow, soil flow, mud flow, etc. And lastly, sliding movement. That is landslide, rock slide, etc. So the major three types of a mass movement are classified as creep, flow and soil. Obviously, creep is extremely slow mass movement. It is a fast or rapid process. Flow, and slide is very fast or very extremely rapid kind of an mass movement. So the mass movements can be classified as creep, flow and slide on the basis of their rate of movement. Very slow movement is known as creep. When the soil or a mass or a mud behaves like a water, it is known as flow, and when there is an instant fall of any kind of a rock, it is known as a slide. So we are dividing the three types of mass movement into creep, flow and slide. Studying the creep firstly. So in the hilly regions where there is a very gentle slope, obviously in the gentle slope we can also go for trekking. People go for trekking. In fact, the sheep herders take their animals for grazing in this region, and when the human beings are walking, animals are walking, grazing, we are breaking the soil. Due to that factor, the soil particles, when we step on any kind of a soil particles, they are thrown in different directions, the side ones. As a result of this, the soil particles keep on moving over each other. If there is a little amount of rainfall, then the soil particles can easily move over the other particles. Even if there is no kind of rainfall, then also the soil particles may move over the other particles. So with such a very small movement, have you ever imagined, or can we see when we step on the soil coming up like this, what they show in the action movies, that they punch you and the vibrations are seen, obviously not seen in the real life. We cannot at least see in by naked eye, but it happens this way, that if somebody punches this and there is entire vibration. So similarly, when we step on any kind of a soil, there are particles which are thrown in different directions. Such a movement which is extremely slow in nature, which cannot be detected by a naked eye, is known as a creep. So the creep, how can we define soil creep? Soil creep is a extremely slow or very slow movement of a soil which occurs steadily for long period of time, or it is an extremely slow. What is extremely slow? Movement of a soil down the slope for a very long period of time. For a very long period of time. So very slow, gradual, steady movement of a soil down the slope for a very long period of time is known as a soil creep. Obviously, this will occur on the gentle slope or on a steep slope. They will occur on the gentle slope. If there is a very steep slope, if the slope is very steep, the soil particles will move at a faster rate. On the other hand, if the slope is extremely gentle, the soil particles will move at a very smaller rate. So it occurs in the areas of an gentle slope. It occurs in the areas having gentle slope. It occurs in the areas having a gentle slope. And how does it occur? In such a way that individual soil particles move over each other. What do you mean by this? In the areas of a gentle slope, if this is one soil particle, another third soil particle, taking this as a microscopic view, these soil particles will move over each other and ultimately they will try to come down and resulting into soil creep. Such kind of a movement is extremely slow and therefore not noticeable or not seen, or you can say therefore not easily noticed. It is not easily noticed. So how do we say if it is not easily noticed, then how do we say that the soil creep is happening? See, if you look at the cross-sectional view in any kind of a mountainous region, or if you next time when you go for trekking in the mountainous region of having a gentle slope, obviously you will see that there are some walls which are constructed, some houses are there, maybe walls are there, or even if the poles are there, if you take a long view, you will see that the poles are somewhat tilted. So initially the pole was a straight pole only, but over the period of time, due to the movement of the soil, it got somewhat tilted. When the walls are constructed in the areas of mountainous region, you will see that there is a more collection or more accumulation of a soil behind the walls. What does it mean? That the soil has been moving and it has collected behind the walls. Now how do we, you will understand it better with the help of this diagram. See, in the mountainous region, having a very gentle slope, in the mountainous region having very gentle slope, if this is the top layer of a soil, and if this is a country rock or this is a mountainous rock, obviously only the top layer of a soil is an sedimentary soil, while the remaining part is a rock structure. You will see the poles which are there here, the trees and the poles, they are tilted a little. That is, there is a slight tilting of the electricity poles, or even if the wall is constructed here in this region, there is a accumulation of a more amount of soil behind the walls. There is accumulation of more amount of soil behind the walls. So what does this figure show? This figure shows soil creep. Are you getting this? There is a tilting up of the poles seen here. There is more amount of soil which I have shown in the blue color behind the walls which have been constructed. Now from where the more amount of soil is coming? Because it is flowing downwards. Sometimes even the pieces of the wall are broken, which has been shown as a projection here in the red color. So the soil creep is the accumulation extremely slow and gradual process where the movement of the soil down the slope for a very, very long period of time. It occurs in the areas having gentle slope where the individual soil particles move in such a way that they jump over each other. It is a very, very slow process but not easily, and therefore not easily noticed, but it results into tilting of the slopes and the accumulation of the soil behind the walls. Now the next process is the soil flow. See, in case of a sudden heavy rainfall, what happens in the Indian cities? We do not have such a great drainage system, or we can say our drainage system is so good that all the water comes out and it starts flowing on the road. So it is a very, very common phenomenon. You don't have to go to the hills to see this. When there is a rainfall, then in the Indian cities, in any metro city of India, you will see the muddy water which is flowing. What does it do? It is a mud which mixes with water and it becomes soluble in water, that it starts flowing like an water because the water is carrying it. So the kind of a flow in which the soils behave like a liquid. Why it behaves like a liquid? Because it is totally saturated with water. What do you mean by saturation? Saturation means it is totally filled with water. It becomes soluble in water, and when it starts flowing like an liquid or soil, mud, it is known as a soil flow, or it is known as a mud flow, or it is known as an earth flow. So this is not what it is in the Indian cities, but geographically where can we see? In the areas which are covered by, which are the mountainous regions, but they are not covered by much trees. For example, the Aravalli mountain system of Rajasthan, or the hills in the semi-desert region which are not covered by much of trees or much of vegetation. In such, because the trees are not there to hold the soil is very, very loose. Now what do you mean by arid region, or what do you mean by semi-arid region? Arid means desert region, semi-arid means semi-desert region. So in this region, because of obviously there is a lack of vegetation, so as a result of this, the soil is very, very loose. And in such region, when there is a sudden rainfall, there will be rainfall in the rainy season, there will be rainfall due to thunderstorms. You will come to that in climatology. There will be rainfall due to convectional currents. In such regions, when there is a sudden amount of rainfall, entire mud, because it is very loose, it starts coming down under the influence of a gravity. So we can say that in fact it mixes. There are seasonal rivers or temporary rivers which are developed in such regions, that is the local rivers are there in such hilly slopes. What they do, they bring the entire mud downwards. Such kind of a fast movement, because it is mixed with water, such kind of a fast movement down the slope of a soil under the influence of a gravity is known as the soil flow. How it is different from soil creep? Creep, very slow movement, not seen by normal eye. Flow, obviously seen by normal eye. You don't, as I told you, for a practical everyday example, you don't have to go to hills to see it. You can just see it on the road, especially on the sloping road. Jahan pe road is sloping down, you will see behind on the side of the road there is a water which will be coming downwards, and then it will be going in some kind of other better drainage system. So this is the soil flow. Not exactly a soil flow, but mixture of too many disasters, too many factors was the last year's tragedy of Uttarakhand, that the river Alaknanda became so heavy because of sudden cloudburst. Cloudburst means very heavy rainfall, and the human beings had constructed so many hotels, constructed roadways in a manner which was not sustainable. We had disturbed the balance of nature, and that was a disaster or tragedy which was waiting to happen some or other day because of because of the unchecked growth, unchecked commercialization of an area. So you must have seen in the TVs at least that how the muddy water was coming and it destroyed everything which was on its way. When such water comes down, it is known as a soil flow. Similarly, you must have heard the news during the Nepal earthquakes. I am not taking it now in this topic. We'll do it in glaciers. During the Nepal earthquake, the avalanche happened, or disaster. Mount Everest, the mountaineers were struck by avalanche, in which some of the people who were staying at the base camp on the Everest were killed. Now, what is an avalanche? Avalanche is nothing but a river of an ice. The ice snow comes so fast due to earthquake, due to vibrations, that due to vibration it becomes loose and then it starts coming down under the influence of a gravity, destroying everything what's in its way. So the coming down of a snow, coming down of a soil, when the soil is flowing down like a water, it is known as a soil flow. So obviously the soil flow, if we draw two types of mountains here, imagine this mountain to be covered by trees. Large amount of forest is present in these mountains. So it is having large trees here. These trees are holding the soil together. So even if there is a sudden amount of rainwater, even if there is sudden amount of rainfall in this region, then because of the presence of the trees, the soil will not flow as fast as possible. Why? Because the trees hold the soil together. That is why the call is for planting of more and more trees. On the other hand, if there are very few trees or very few vegetation in here, in the bare regions, so in the arid or semi-arid regions, so you will see most of the mud here, most of the soil here is in the kind of an loose format. So whenever there is a sudden rainfall which occurs, the entire mud here, entire soil here starts flowing with the great speed and it affects the downward region. So very fast movement of a soil is known as a soil flow. Now how can we define the soil flow? Or it is also known as solifluction. Rapid movement of the soil. It is a rapid movement of the soil or very fast movement of the soil, in which the soil or mud acts like a liquid, is known as soil flow or mud flow. Now why does it act like a liquid? It acts like a liquid because it occurs in the areas where the soil area is completely saturated with water, where the soil is completely saturated with water, where the soil is completely saturated with water. So it occurs in the areas where the soil is completely saturated with water. Now what do you mean completely saturated with water? Obviously completely filled with water. So in the areas which are completely saturated with water, why it acts? Because in such areas the particles are suspended in water, and therefore they flow easily. that is the particles get suspended in water and therefore they flow very easily. So what you have to remember, if it is a rapid movement where it acts like liquid. Why does it act like liquid? Because the particles are completely saturated with what? Water, and therefore they are carried in suspension or they get suspended in water, or you can also write the particles are carried in suspension in water and therefore they flow very easily. Now in which areas this will occur? As I told you in the diagram, it occurs in the areas in arid and semi-arid regions. In arid and semi-arid region. In the arid and the semi-arid region, because of lack of vegetation as the soil is loose. The soil is loose here. Second, where will it occur? You know that in the tundra region or in the temperate region, in the tundra region most of the time the earth is covered by soil. In the tundra region most of the time the earth is covered with the snow. In the temperate region, during the winter season there is a large amount of snowfall and the earth is covered with the snow, or the surface of the earth is covered with the snow. In your freezer there is if your freezer does not have an automatic defrost action, your freezer over the period of time gets covered with the snow. So what do? You press the defrost button. What happens? The snow melts, becomes liquid and collects on your floor. So same thing you apply to your soil flow. In the tundra region, in the temperate regions, when the snow melts, such soil flow occurs due to the melting up of the snow. So it occurs in the tundra and the temperate region. It occurs in tundra and temperate regions. Due to melting up of snow. Now, preliminary point of view, remember this important term, such melting or such a soil flow in Ireland, it is known as such a soil flow in the Ireland region, they are known as such soil flow are known as, that is due to the melting up of snow, are known as bog bursts. Known as bog burst in Ireland. So what is a bog burst? It is an example of an soil flow. In which region of the world? In the Ireland region. Now in the volcanic regions, whenever suppose there is a volcanic eruption and the magma is flowing. But if there is a sudden rainfall due to numerous amount of gases, due to large amount of water vapor, clouds are formed in the mountainous region, the rainfall starts occurring. As a result of this, sometimes there is a mixture of volcanic materials, volcanic debris or volcanic materials along with the rainwater, and therefore you see in most of the National Geographic or most of the documentaries, they will show you the lava is flowing like a water. It is a mixture of lava or ash along with the water. Such kind of a soil flow in the volcanic regions, when there is a mixture of volcanic material plus water, is known as lahar. So another preliminary important fact, what is a bog burst and what is a lahar? So you can take the third important fact is when debris flow of volcanic material plus water occurs, then it is now known as, then such is known as LAHAR, Lahar. Then such is known as Lahar, and it is known as Lahar. So the soil flow is a rapid movement in which the soil acts like a liquid. Why does it act like a liquid? Because it is completely saturated with water, and as a result the particles are suspended in water, that is they are carried in suspension and they flow like water. Now localized example, it will occur in the arid and semi-arid regions because this lack the soil, lack the tree cover, and therefore the soil is loose. In tundra region and temperate region, it will occur due to melting up of the snow obviously during the summers. Such in Ireland they are known as bog burst. And when the debris flow of volcanic material mixed with water occurs, such a flow is known as a lahar. So these are the examples of a mass movement, or examples. These are examples of an soil flow. Now the third kind of a movement are known as landslides or slides. It can be landslide, it can be rock slide, it can be mud slide. Now during an earthquake, when there is a very, very severe earthquake, do we get time to react to the earthquake? That generally, why do the people die? Because they do not have time to escape from the building or from the residential areas, and therefore they get buried under the debris or fallen building. If the earthquakes can shake the buildings, obviously they can shake the rocks. And the buildings are compact structure because we make them for living. The earth is not that compact, the mountain is not that compact structure. Due to faulting, due to different kind, or due to human intervention, due to undercutting by the river, there are obviously numerous cracks which are formed there in the building. And if there is sudden earthquake shaking up the earth, the loose rock materials come down under the influence of gravity, and they come down, and if there is a road, they destroy the road. If there is a village, they will destroy the village, or if there is any slope, they will come down and accumulate as a talus. And the reaction is so fast, similar to like falling of a building, the shaking of the earth and the sliding of the rocks is so fast that there is no time to react. Such very, very rapid movement or instant movement of the falling up of the earth is known as slides. So our third is slides. So what are these landslides? Slides or landslides. What are this? Very rapid or instantaneous movements of large masses of the rocks, not small masses of the rocks, of large rocks. Why? Down the slope. On which slope? On gentle slopes or on the steep slopes? Where will it occur? Gentle or steep? Obviously on the steep slope. So do make sure that whenever you are writing the definition in the examination, you are conveying each and everything to the examiner. Or even when you are learning anything, try to do it in a much compact way. So you are making sure in the definition is covering everything, that is very rapid, instantaneous movements of what? Large mass on steep slope due to gravity. So it is a landslide. So of rocks So very rapid instantaneous movements of large rocks on steep slopes. In mountainous region. Are known as landslides. In the mountainous regions are known as landslides. Obviously here water acts as an lubricating agent. Water acts as a lubricating agent, and therefore landslides are common during rainy season. During rainy season, landslides are common during the rainy seasons. So because the water here acts like a lubricating agent, therefore the landslides are very common during the rainy season. What are the different kinds of reasons for the landslide? So look here again, very rapid movements or instantaneous movements of what? Large rock mass on the steep slopes when the water in the mountainous region, when the water acts as a lubricating agent. Rainwater is therefore is known as the landslides. So there are obviously different reasons for the landslides. Some are natural reasons, some are artificial reasons. Now consider this area in the mountainous region. There is a river which is flowing through this mountainous region. Now how does the river flow through any kind of the river does not flow straight, but it flows in different kind of bends. So when the river is flowing in the different kind of bends, obviously it is a bending. River flow is never straight, river flow is always meandering, that it is flowing in different kind of bends. Now if this river is flowing in different kinds of bends, if this meandering increases, how does this meandering increase? We'll learn it while doing erosion. If this meandering increases and if the meandering increases and it undercuts the mountainous region, it will result into making up of a steep slope. So this river which was flowing, so that I will show you, I will draw a bigger one so that you will have a better understanding. Now due to the meandering, if the river is meandering from here and due to the meandering it is undercutting the slope of a mountain, it will result into landslide because this region will look somewhat like this. That is, this slope which should have been originally like this, it has been undercut by a river which is meandering here or which is flowing in this region. So it will result into meandering by undercut of a mountain by a river which was flowing in, which is flowing in this region. So one of the reason, when the river undercuts, this part becomes steep and then there is a sudden, someday due to extremely heavy rainfall or due to earthquake or any other tectonic movements, this rock mass will come down and fall as a landslide. Now this can be seen in most of the tourist places. Now though there is how it is an artificial artificial feature. Generally such slopes are cut down by the rivers. These slopes are very steep, and in the tourist regions on the such mountain slope, to get a better view, and most of the hotels are located in this region. So you will find too much development of hotels in this region, too much development of commercial properties on such slopes of a mountain. That is, this is a region which is most exploited, and this is the region which is the most dangerous region. So because the river is already undercutting a slope, the river is already cutting the surface, and if we are building the mountains in this hotels in this region, obviously the construction activity is weakening the earth. The construction activity is causing extra super incumbent load on the earth, and if suppose tomorrow that this is a part of which is undercut and which is having most of the commercial development of a property here, and downwards the river is flowing through this region. Suppose the river undercuts and it enters this region, then the mountain becomes cut. The river may change its course due to extra flood. The river may change its course due to different features. So the mountain gets cut from here, and this entire part falls downwards, causing a tragedy, causing a natural disaster. So one of the reasons for landslide is, first is when the steep slope is undercut by the river. When the steep slope is undercut by the river. This is one of the most important reason for a landslide, that is the steep slope is undercut by the river. Second is obviously earthquake and volcanic eruption. Volcanic eruptions. Why? As you already seen, because they loosen the rock material which slide downwards, and if there is a very strong shaking, then just like buildings, even the rocks come down. That is the earthquakes and the volcanic materials, because they loosen the rocks. Because they loosen the rocks. Now the third is artificial steepening of slopes for road construction, rail constructions, hotel construction, etc. That is the artificial steepening of the slopes by human beings. As I have told you, if this is an original slope which was to be present here, what we are doing, if this is a steep slope in the Western Ghat region, for example, if we take this is a steep slope, what we are doing for the construction of a road, we are making this slope which was an original slope, we are steepening it artificially to construct the highways or to construct the roads. So for example, if you are removing this portion, the mountain becomes like this. That is, there is an artificial steepening of the slope so that the roads can be constructed here, and when the roads get constructed, obviously there are the cracks in the rocks which get developed, and the cracks, then these rocks fall down, suddenly causing landslide. This is for road construction, this is for rail construction, this is for construction of hotels, etc. That is, it will result into these rocks which have undergone the cracks, they can fall then suddenly causing landslide. It is one of the most common reason for stopping of a railway in this region. Konkan railway is always in every rainy season is affected by the landslide. The Konkan region or the Western Ghat region, it is affected by the landslides. Himalayan region affected by the landslide. And as I gave you just last month, the Darjeeling tragedy, in which around 38 people were killed in a landslide. So these are the regular examples which keep on happening. So the artificial steepening of the slopes due to, so the landslides are where, so these are the three reasons for the construction, or these are the three reasons for the landslide. Now India and landslides, just to give you an example for, so that you will have better understanding, though we will come to it again in the disasters in India. Obviously landslide is a disaster, killing 38 people. Cloud, and when it is mixed by volcanoes, when it is mixed by earthquakes, then it becomes a very, very big disaster. So in India, which areas will be vulnerable to landslide? In India, what is the definition of a landslide? The landslides are caused in the areas which are having steep slopes. So which are the areas in India having the steep slopes? One is the Himalayan mountain system. Obviously the Himalayan mountain system has the steep slope. What are the other mountains in India? The other mountains in India are Aravalli mountains, Vindhyas, Satpura mountains, Eastern Ghats, and the other steep mountain is in Western Ghat region. So in India, the two regions which are vulnerable for landslides is the one region is the Western Ghat region, Eastern Ghat, not that much steep. Satpura, Vindhyas, not that much steep. The second region is obviously the Himalayan region, which is vulnerable to the landslides. Now, why are these two regions vulnerable to the landslides? What is the reason for the Western Ghats in the landslides? Which are the regions which receive very, very heavy rainfall in India? Even if you have not studied geography before, still you know that the Western Ghat region and the northeastern region, these are the regions which receive very, very heavy rainfall. So one of the major primary reason for Western Ghats is steepness of the slopes. Obviously, the Western Ghat is one of the most steep mountains, and heavy rainfall. What is the reason for Himalayan region? Obviously, this region also is a very steep. In both the regions, I am doing just a geographical region. In both this region, you can take the examples of numerous hill stations. There is a lot of commercial development, unchecked commercial development. We are accelerating the process. But the geographical reason is the very heavy rainfall in this. While in the Himalayan region, why it is because of very, very steep slope. But obviously, heavy rainfall in the northeast, here also more than 100 centimeters of a rainfall. Heavy rainfall. The third reason, if you remember, this is a region of plate tectonics, where the Indian plate is going below the Eurasian plate. So one extra region here is plate boundary, the region of earthquakes. So one of the third important region is zone of earthquakes, or the third reason for landslide is earthquakes. Are Western Ghats earthquake vulnerable zones or earthquake prone zones in India, or is there a frequent earthquake in the Western Ghats? No, because it does not lie on the plate boundary. This is the plate boundary. This is not the plate boundary. Okay, this lies somewhere in the middle of a plate. It is just a part of a plateau which has gone below the sea. It is the part of a plateau here this was, and it has gone below the sea, and therefore for the person who is standing on the western coast of India, it looks like a very, very tall mountain. But for the person who is standing on the eastern side, it is not a steep mountain. We will come to that in the Indian part. So the Western Ghats, that's why they are known as Ghats, or they are known as traps or stairs, because the Western Ghats is not exactly a mountain, it is just an edge of a plateau. It was one plateau, the one part of the plateau developed a crack, went under the sea, and therefore for the person standing here, it looks like a mountain. It is not on the edge of a boundary. Don't get confused, don't confuse it with the fold mountains similar to Rockies or Andes, because you may think that because it is near the seashore it is a fold mountain. No, it is just an part of an escarpment. So the Himalayan region experiences frequent landslides because of very heavy rainfall and earthquakes, while the Western Ghat region experiences landslides due to the steepness of the slope and heavy rainfall. With this we complete the weathering and mass movement. Now the next part of our topic is your changes in the landforms over the period of time. So we will come to the next part, which is an erosion. That is in the process where there is again denudation process, that is there is a lowering of the slope, but along with that this lowering is not in situ, it is a dynamic process. Unlike the weathering, it is not static. Weathering was very static at the same place. Unlike the weathering, it is dynamic process where there is role of a transportation agent like water. River water will come, break the soils, then transport the soil and deposit in the river. So before I end, just have a very, very quick revision of the three kinds of mass movement we did. See, I forgot to take one part. A kind of a landslide is known as slumping. It will come in the slides only. It is known as a slumping. Now imagine an area. What does the slumping means? Slumping means breaking down of or collapsing of the rocks. Slumping is a kind of a slide where there is collapsing of the rock structure. Where there is a collapsing of the rocks. Collapsing of the rocks, how do it differs? Suppose there is a rock structure or slope like this. Suppose there is a mountainous slope like this. Or there is a mountainous region in which there is a slope like this. And in this mountainous region, it is obviously having different kind of rock materials. It is made by different kind of rock materials. Maybe it is the middle material, it is made up of rocks such as clay. The topmost material, it is made up of sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks. Now what is the property of a clay? The property of a clay is that it does not allow the water to pass, that is, it is impermeable rock. While the topmost rock, which are sedimentary rock, the water can pass through the joints of a sedimentary rock. Again, that is because it is a well-jointed sedimentary rock, so the water can pass through the gaps. So whenever there is a rainfall here, the water will pass through look at the diagram very properly, the water will pass through different types of gaps found in the sedimentary rock, and they will go and accumulate in the clay. Now when you used to play with the clay to give any shape, it has to become moist. So that means when the clay become moist, becomes moist, it becomes flexible, that it does not remain strong. So the clay will absorb most of the water, and as a result of this, the clay will become moist and it will collapse. So as a result of this collapsing, the entire structure which is lying above the clay obviously will collapse. So such kind of collapsing of a land is known as a slumping. So imagine this clay structure now collapsing because it has become moist, then obviously the entire land which was lying above it collapses. So you see here the moist clay collapses, moist clay collapses, and it results into slumping. It results into slumping of the land. So what is the slumping? It is a kind of a slide when there is a collapsing of the rocks. Example is this. So for what is required for slumping, what is the condition required? It occurs when the permeable rocks, overlay or lie above the impermeable rocks, such as clay. So slumping, you remember, it occurs in the regions of impermeable rocks such as clay. So the question is, what kind of the slide which occurs in the regions of clay is known as? The answer should be slumping. Or what is slumping? It is a kind of the collapsing of the rocks. You can just have a look at the diagram that how does the collapsing of the rock occurs. It occurs when the moist clay is collapsing. In the blue color layer is a layer of a clay, and there is a collapsing of the land, and ultimately the land on the top of the clay also collapses. This is known as the slumping. Now before I end the weathering and mass movement, so what are the different kind of mass movement we studied? We studied creep, that is the soil creep. We studied flow, and we studied the slides. How is the rate of movement? Rate here is slow, fast, and very fast. How is the amount? How much is the amount of water? Little, fully saturated with water, and water may be present or may not be present. That is, water has no specific role. For example, during the rainy season, yes, the water has a specific role. But during the earthquake, the landslide does not require lubricating action of water. What are the examples of soil creep? The example is again a soil creep itself. What is the example here? Bog burst in Ireland, mud flow or earth flow, what we say, lahar in the volcanic regions, etc. What are the examples here? Landslides, rock falls, and slumping. So this is the revision. This is the entire part of the kind of an mass movements. Okay. So with this we will end our mass movement topic, and the next topic we are going to start is the topic of an erosion.